Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Hi.
I spent like 2 minutes positioning the lighting in my face, and then I forget that when you come, I get like lifted up halfway. So let me just take another moment to.
Can I just say, so when I come, you get lifted halfway?
Well, excuse my broken English. What I'm saying is like I have the full screen.
Yeah.
And then I get lifted like halfway. That made sense to me, but
No. I have to talk like that because that's who I legitimately am, and
that's the point of today's topic: speaking
exactly.
your truth in the moment. So of course,
exactly, perfect. And there's many levels to this, isn't there? Sometimes you got to be who you are, and some people really might hate that, so we can get into that in a little bit.
Yes. By the way, when you said there's always some levels to everything, I totally agree to that. But have you watched Black Panther? I just got to the States like a few days ago, and I told myself the moment I have a free moment, I need to watch that film. And after my priestess ordination on Saturday, which we'll get into as well, I watched it, and it is just wow, wow. And so I was wondering if you've seen it.
No, not yet. I need to. I tried to when I was in the States last, and I didn't get a chance. And I'm like, okay, gonna have to wait till DVD time, I think.
I'm definitely recommending that because it really speaks on multiple levels, and it's one of those films that really penetrates your subconscious. So,
Good storytelling, which I'm obsessed about good storytelling right now. We need good storytelling. I've kind of been on a side note, like I'm a kid who grew up with Star Wars, and the last Star Wars was super disappointing. I'm one of those people who hated it. And the problem is that we're characters. And when we don't have good storytelling or good character development out there in the world, it's like it's just limiting people's brains. We just need a lot more intelligence. We're ready for it. I don't know why major movie studios don't get it. Like, even though you have amazing films like Black Panther, how come the next 99,000 films will also still be stupid? It's like, why do we have to wait for a great film? Like, who's in control here?
Well, I think in the end we are, right? Like, I'm ready to watch it again to be one of those numbers, because it's been the #1 film for the last 6 weeks around the world. So I think that we are the ones that are making the change and the demand. So so I just feel that. But I feel you. It's time to deliver content to really inspire the evolution of humanity. So.
Absolutely.
Yay!
So yes, our topic is about communication. How would you like to start off? I have some interesting things to share, but I would love to hear how you would like to kick it off.
Sure. I would love to kick off this Heart Surrender Talks by just sharing the importance of being able to speak in the now. And what I mean by that is that, sometimes we have an awareness, an idea that there's something that is in our hearts, in our mind, that we really want to talk about, or even something that we did and like we're feeling guilty about it, but we're too afraid to open up and talk about, and we wait until the very last minute when there's less spaciousness to take care of the situation. And so I just wanted to expand on that topic, particularly also because I believe we're still in Mercury retrograde. And, for me, Mercury retrograde is really an opportunity to expand in communication, to really go the next level, the next step, to ensure that the person really receives your communication, that what you have shared really lands and is actually delivered to the other person. Because in the end, we are completely two different brains, two different people, dealing with different things, processing different things. And the more you can, really break it down, the more you empower yourself and the other person to be met. And that's what really we want in life is to be met somehow, you know. And so I wanted to kind of expand a little bit on that, and I feel called to share, to discuss that today.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's loaded. Like you said, like when we feel challenged to talk, or we have some sort of guilty energy, whatever that may be, you know, it could be like, not even like, oh, you did something sexually bad. It's more like, oh, like I didn't clean my room. I have this like trauma from not cleaning my room and my parents yelling at me. And so I hide that I didn't clean my room without talking about it. So it's just funny how that, you know, listen
Exactly.
to me. Yeah, we get trained like that. I'm like, if I lie or I don't say anything, then maybe this will just blow away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hello, Camp Goddess. They just said hello, Camp Goddess. Bob just said hi, so I wanted to just
hey.
Yeah, I feel you. It's totally that somehow there's this thought process that around like, oh, if I don't say anything, if I don't acknowledge it, it's somehow going to magically disappear and I don't have to deal with it ever. But the truth is, like, yes, you have to deal with it, and you will need to deal with it at some point or another. And so I feel like, I guess what, you know, some of the, what inspires me to talk about certain things is like things that are actually happening in my life. And so hopefully the people in my life don't take it, so I won't mention any particular names, but like, it's because they affect me on a deep core level. So it's like, I want to like be able to share authentically, like, this is something that I want to expand on. This is something I want to explore for myself as well. And so, you know, I had the keys to my storage unit on my mom's keychain, and so, you know, I didn't bring my spare key, but like I didn't have to. I was used to already her having the key because that's just what we've already like have prearranged, and that's just what was like available, and we just had that agreement that like the key's there, you can just grab it every time. And so I'm at storage already, at my storage with like, you know, several things lined up for the day. And then I'm like, Mom, like, actually, it wasn't even like that. What actually happened is she actually lost the keys to the car that I'm using. She actually lost the original keys, like the really like nice keys to the car. And so with that included the storage keys. And so on my way to storage, actually, like I was about to go to storage, I was like, wait, you lost the keys to the car? Like, these are like really valuable keys, and you're just telling me now? Here's a little spare ghetto one, you know? And I'm like, how come I wasn't told, like, the moment that it was lost, like, hey, there's some keys that I lost. I don't know where they are. I hope to find them, but I'm already making a copy for them. And what else were on those keys that are important to you? You know, I could have broken down to like, actually, my storage keys were there, so I'm going to bring mine since they're not available. So it created this whole like, just like memories of all the many times where communication has been withheld. And when communication is withheld, it's a different way of lying to each other. It's a different way of betraying one another, because we're holding information that can help us make better choices for ourselves. In the end, it was an actual healing experience. Because, you know, I was not expecting this, but my father was like, I'll break open the key lock. I mean, I already had pre-arrangements with the locksmiths at the storage unit and things like that. And I have like these deepest desires to be held and supported by my family. Like, I've been very independent since I was 12 years old. Like, I have always provided for myself in ways that my parents weren't able to. And I'm grateful for those experiences because it made me a strong person that I am today. But I've had this deep yearning, though, to be held by them, you know, because I have a lot on my mind. I have so much going on that it'd be kind of nice to be held in at least some significant ways as well. And so it felt in that moment that I got there was a communication breakdown with my mother, it also inspired this deeper healing with my father, where he actually chose to show up and be like, I got my tools. I can break down that, my father has every kind of tool imaginable. We came as immigrants from Mexico, so homeboy has every kind of tool you can think of as a handyman, and professional ones too, like really good ones. So he's like, I have the tool. I even have a lock for you that I'm gonna give you. I'm like, okay. I was ready to work with the storage guy to buy a new lock. I was ready for all of that. So here my father chose to show up, and it was healing. In the end, it was a healing experience, but there's still the difference. And there's still the difference of communicating, hey, this has just happened. Make sure you're prepared to handle whatever you need to do for yourself, versus on my way already with the understanding that everything's already in place. And I feel that's the difference. Being able to communicate when things happen, even if you can't go deep and thoroughly deep into whatever the situation is, even a form of communication such as hey, there's something I need to talk to you about. I really get that you're in the middle of something and maybe you don't like cliffhangers, or maybe this is not something you want to hear, but it's on my mind and I can feel it in my gut and my solar plexus that this is something that I don't even want to withhold from you anymore. But let's find a time where we can, discuss what's going on.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to examine, why do we withhold communication? I kind of like what you were saying. Good communication is that feeling of being held, or that the other person is, they're not skipping out on the participation. And, it's funny to get in this state oh, I need the right answer to give. Yeah. Someone's asking me a question and I need to give, sorry, there's
the fiesta.
Fucking gas truck. Okay. So, I can't answer unless I have a good answer. And it was interesting. I was just practicing that with you right now, noticing we were just, WhatsApping, and I was like, you're asking me questions. I'm like, I actually don't have an answer right now. And typically in the past, I would just not answer until I had a good answer. And I'm like, wow, actually I'm allowed to just be I don't know. I don't have an answer right now. And that's communicating. And I'm like, wow, that's so interesting to just even practice that and be being okay with not having a great answer. It's I don't have an answer right now, but I would love to figure out a good one. Let's, like you said, schedule a time, or I'm busy right now, or just these little tiny communications really, really count, rather than be ignore, pretending you didn't get the message. And everyone's just especially when it's someone you're really intimate with, you're just you kind of want, you kind of expect that kind of instantaneousness sometimes, and then you can kind of throw your day off when you don't get the instantaneous communication back. And so there's also a balance to that as well of what's, what can you expect,
Yeah, I mean, remember, no expectations, agreements, just support.
Exactly. Hey, I work, so maybe from, 9 to 5, I might not be able to answer you right away. Those sort of communications.
Totally. And I mean, anything is communication. Nonverbal communication is communication. So we have to be conscious about that,
And
just
that's
because
the bad
we're
one.
saying something doesn't mean we're not communicating. It's all up for the human psyche, mind to interpret whatever it is that you are giving and not giving.
Right. And that's why that silence one is most dangerous. Even between me and you, the other week I dropped out, and then you're well, I don't know, he could have been in an accident, right? The mind goes. And so when you don't communicate, you kind of force the other person to invent a list of possibilities, when it's just what sort of I don't have an answer right now would have been a better answer than no answer. You know?
And I actually, Wes, if it's cool with you, I'd like to open up the platform to have people express reasons why we choose not to communicate, and maybe we can explain and explore those topics. So for anyone who's watching us live right now, what keeps you back from opening and expressing yourselves in the moment again, it doesn't have to be the full on, like, I'm ready just to open my heart and tell you anything from like, share my deepest like desires all the way to like, bitch, I'm mad. We need to talk now. You know, the extreme of that, like what keeps you from really opening up and sharing? And then while we wait for those responses, maybe you and I can expand on a little bit on what keeps us from really allowing ourselves to be seen in where we're at. Which is communicating in the moment.
Yeah. I definitely have something with that. I think, you know, it goes pretty complex. Sometimes I might not communicate because I'm not comfortable with my own needs, meaning either I've been trained in the relationship or I have a pattern in myself sometimes where if I say my need, it's just going to get rejected. So that is one reason why I don't communicate, is because I'm not comfortable with the assumed response that the other person is going to give me or might give me.
Okay, so can you say that one more time? And someone did respond here as well, which is fear of our own greatness. But I want you to complete your thought fully, because I'm still grasping that as I'm reading this.
Being okay with your needs. So sometimes we don't communicate our need because we feel our need is going to be rejected ahead of time. Right. And so we hold back. So that's an interesting place to go within ourselves. Why would we not communicate a need? Now, is that because we've been trained in the current relationship that every time I say a need, this person rejects me, so I don't no longer communicate my needs? Or, you know, do I have a bad internal communication? Because remember, this is a two-part communication thing: external communication and internal communication. Right, and so how's my internal communication? Do I even listen to myself? Do I ask myself questions and then wait, go silent on my own self and wait 2 weeks later to answer my own question? Or, you know, so that's where, you know, I'm again recommending, you know, self-intimacy time. That for me, that's meditation, where I sit down and really talk or listen to myself and see, like, hey, do I even feel comfortable communicating my own needs to myself? Or am I flexing a pattern where I don't even listen to my needs and then expect those needs to be heard and listened and acted upon outside of me, you know?
Beautiful. Brilliant, love. Thank you. I was like, come on, we're getting closer and closer and closer. But yeah, that's beautiful. Like, you know, coming from that deep place of self-love, of clarity, and having that internal dialogue conversation with ourselves. And then from that place, being able to then be not attached to any outcome.
Yes.
You've already done the inner work and communicated with yourself about your needs and desires and what you need to do. So if you're aware that you have these needs, then you become like unstoppable. And whoever is there is either going to support that, inspire, be a part of that, co-create with you, or they're just going to move out of the way for you to make it happen. And so I can relate, you know, and so the fear of our own greatness, I can relate to that as well. Sometimes when we communicate, we are stepping out, we're stepping into, I mean, communicating, sometimes when you know you need to say something, it is coming from our inner gut feeling most of the time. It's from our solar plexus, and this is a place of empowerment. And so when we are courageously asking for what we need or expressing our heart's desires, we're really using that, I feel like, that solar plexus part of ourselves. And so there comes a death with that. And so that rebirth is a new level of greatness and awareness. So I can resonate with the fear of death, the fear of ego, and being seen. Yeah.
I want to say, like, yeah, it's an interesting, I almost want to like get out like a timer on my phone and be like, how fast can I say what I need? Like, what I want to know, how fast can I say what I need to another person? How fast? Or is there, and if there's a hesitation, why? Is that in me? Or like I said, in the past, have I met resistance from this other person in them listening and or meeting my needs? So I'm just like, and yes, to what you're saying about, look, understanding if this person may listen, this person outside of you may listen, but here's a trip with other people, they have their own evolution. And so even though they listen, they still might not understand. And then you have to be okay with like, wow, I said it as clear as I could, and they just don't have the paradigm of what I'm talking about or the cultural resonance to what I'm talking about. And so you're like, okay, I spoke. They just don't understand. It's not a matter of them, rejecting what I'm saying. They just don't understand. So how are you then, and again, do you want to go out and then just get better matched, request your needs somewhere else with a different person, which is called not arguing with reality, but going with the flow. I'm getting a no here, but I'm going to get a yes over there. So I'll just go with the yes.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like it's in some people, whether it's such a strong yes to be there for someone. Sometimes I get amazed and blown away by some of the people in my life who are a yes to me. Like even though they've been somehow expressing their deep yes to me in multiple times in infinite ways, I'm still like, really, you can do that? Or really, you don't mind? Or, because it's such a deep rewiring, conditioning of what I either grew up with or what I have previously believed or what I'm shedding. And so I feel part of our journey is to really match those people in our lives that are a yes to us by choosing ourselves fully. And I know for me, I am like a full yes to certain people in my life. Like there's just no questions asked. You need to talk. Okay, this is my next time. I can totally ground and totally be there with you, for you. And I think this is just a matter of, discerning and finding who really resonates to what we're up to.
Yeah.
And that starts with communicating who you are,
Yeah. I kind of feel, I don't know, this phrase just came to me as you were just saying everything. Choose yourself first. How does that sound?
That sounds great. Yeah, because then everything outside of you is a manifestation and expression of that choice.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want to be with someone that has chosen themselves? Because it's really an opportunity to even choose myself even more deep, like more fully and deeper, and knowing that whatever union occurs between a person who has chosen themselves, and it creates this kind of safety of trust that allows you to open up more vulnerably to that other person, because there's a core agreement that we've chosen ourselves in a very holistic way. I'm going to take a moment to scroll over the comments while you type whatever.
Yeah. I was going to say, what just came to me now is, know what good communication is within yourself, so that when you meet other people and they start talking and you're communicating with them and they're not aligned with how you communicate well with yourself, then that will be pretty obvious. That level of contrast or discord, I think, for me, becomes it's very fast, because I know what it's like to talk to myself well. And that's my gold standard in choosing myself first. And so again, if someone's not talking to me well or not meeting my communication requests the way I meet my communication requests, then it just makes that all the more clear. So again, that's doing that level of good work with yourself first.
Yeah, totally. It always just comes back to that.
Yeah. Hi, you got to do it. Do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're going to say anything, but I was just saying Yasmin mentioned something, revealing the vulnerability of our shadow and the fear of it being too much to hold for the other, or that it's too much for the other to receive our vulnerable communication. You know,
Yeah,
so,
we
yeah.
have to be responsible people in that regards and not assume ever that someone wants to hold us in our heaviness because, for one, you are worthy of being held, and two, you are worthy of having the best support for your process, and three, it's our job, it's our responsibility to find that support. We can't expect just because, Joe Schmo has been our best friend of 1,000 years and 1,000 lifetimes that they're in a place to process your childhood trauma or your sexual trauma or your toxic relationship again for the 20th time. It's no one's responsibility but our own to find, to parent ourselves, to find the best support possible for our inner child for whatever process you're going through. We could never expect anyone ever to show up for ourselves unless it's a very, very specific agreement, meaning you have a coaching relationship, you have a therapist agreement, there's a financial agreement, there's a boundary, there's a time, like all those kind of mundane things have been addressed so that you can really allow this feminine emotional part of you to come through and purge. And we need to be we've done that masculine part to really take care of this feminine part of you. So
it's true. It's true.
And there will be people in your life, as you know, that it'll become very clear that that's who they are in your life and that's who they want to be. But if you're unclear about it and then you're now bumping with your self-worth issues of they just don't love me enough, I'm not worthy enough, they just don't want to be there for me. It's no, they just are a human and they're doing whatever they want to do, and it's your job to find the best support for yourself, so
it's really key.
It'll be really, really clear. There'll be no questions asked that this person, individuals, group, tribe is there for you. And something that Wes and I were talking about earlier was I was going to share a little bit about my ordination ceremony that happened this past weekend. And so I don't know if this is appropriate now, Wes, or wait a little bit more, if you wanted to add to it, what I was just saying.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think, again, not making the assumption that someone you're physically intimate with or time intimate with is available for the level of depth of healing that you're looking for. Again, you communicate and ask if they are, but it's well documented that sometimes we fall into an automatic state where we make our partner our counselor, and that's a big no to do. Yes, your intimate partner should be your cheerleader. And part of that cheerleading might be encouraging you to go find the right healer for you. But, there's definitely.
In shoulds.
Well, I know. I love saying shoulds. I've been saying shoulds since the 90s.
Kindergarten.
And I always get shut down when I say the word should. And it's just not fair. I should be able to say the word should in this liberated culture.
That's great. I know what I mean. It's it just kind of goes into the place of I shouldn't do anything, it's the rebellious part of me. But I do feel you. I mean, I feel like a lot of people desire, that muse and inspiring force, supportive, inspiring force in their lives. So I understand that, but some people also don't really feel like that's their calling in a relationship. They don't feel like I shouldn't have to inspire anyone. They should have that self-inspiration, motivation within themselves, and we just celebrate that.
True, and then that would not be a match, right? If that's what you're looking for, is I don't want my partner to be my healer, but I do want them to be my cheerleader to get my healing done. That could be a standard. You don't like that, but guess what? Other people do like that.
That's fine. I'm not saying I don't like that. I'm just saying I'm just saying I don't resonate with just the shoulds in relationships, That's just me. So it could be anything. Yes, I love it. Jasmine, love you. Even when you should all over the place. Me too. That's the truth. I just felt like I had to say something.
Well, no, it's an interesting thing. Like, and again, I think this is a matter of preference, right? It's again, what are you looking to experience? And if you're wanting to be matched by someone who can be that for you, then that is available for you. There is someone who loves playing that level of support. Yeah. So again, if you're looking for that and you're not getting matched, and then the other person is clearly communicating, I don't do that, then you need to make a decision for yourself. Like, okay, well, I still need that. I don't do that for myself right now. I'm still looking to have an experience where someone does that for me outside of me, maybe so I can remember eventually how to do that for myself if ultimate sovereignty is my goal. Or maybe it's just, sometimes that can be an uncompromisable part of your personality. And you're like, no, I need someone who opens the door for me, or I need someone who does this, and then I know I'm loved. As dependent as that might be, it's interesting to know that about yourself on some of these things that are just like, isn't there that thing called, like, there's that test you can do, like love languages, right? Some people have different love languages, right? They need gifts, or they need touch, or they need words, right? And so those are knowing yourself again, like, okay, I need to be matched with words in this department. Yeah.
Totally. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I think it's important to find our support and our gifts, like to be really, really, what's the word I want to say, devoted to finding and also providing that as well. Because, like, for instance, like my Tantra family, I specifically go deep and deep and deep with sexual, being held sexually. And what I mean by that, like, having conversations that I normally wouldn't have, like, outside of that. Like, I mean, I'm open to having those conversations, but these are the people that, like, they're my pillars when it comes to sexual awakening, sexual transformation, like going and having, like, really deep conversations with that. And then I have, like, my Chimera tribe, which is where I got ordinated from. This is where I do also, like, my very, like, fully human integrated processing, very deep processing. And so, like, I'm not necessarily going, even though it's a fully human integrated experience with Chimera tribe, and I really feel like I'm at home and I'm really held with tribe, I don't necessarily want to process some of the stuff over here. I mean, if it comes up, I will. I'm not going to, like, say, oh, this isn't the environment for it either. But I know if I want to go deeper, it's over here. And I also know that the main difference between the two is that Chimera tribe is, like, a full, like, it's a tribe commitment, meaning we have each other as we go through this process. And in completing this process, you are a tribe, versus here, this is more if, like, you participated in a 10-day teacher training. We're totally present and available for you for 10 days. After that, we may get back to you in our pleasurable, blissful moments. Right. Here, tribe, there's accountability, there's structure, there's that. And so you can't make anything wrong, because in the end, what I've learned about Chimera is non-duality and just having no judgment about anything. And then what I've learned here is just being in the flow with it all. And so, like, it's about not making any of our support system wrong, but just choosing, like, and creating, manifesting, like, what really works for us, and where can I really open up, and where can I find my match? Where am I the most aligned here with my own evolution and healing, and how can I be met, and where can I meet these people who also thrive off me being available to them in the capacity that they're comfortable, open to.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Did you want to share with, wait.
Yes, I can share briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went on a year-long program with this amazing, mind-blowing teacher named Ananda Ray. I met her over a year and a half ago, maybe longer, I'm not sure. But on Saturday, we, 9 sisters, completed a whole year-long journey of working with her to become ordained priestesses. But it's really feels like just the beginning. This was just kind of the prerequisites to join her and to not join her, but to be part of this bigger collective tribe of priestesses and priests that under the Temple of Isis and the Fellowship of Isis. And I did some of my deepest healing and through this experience, and I feel because it is a very integrative environment, and I feel that one of the biggest things I'm walking away, I mean, I'm still grounding from the experience. It was really like, whoo! It was so powerful. It was so powerful, the completion of that whole cycle. But the thing that speaks the most, that I feel that this teacher really embodies, is integrity to the next level, impeccability to the next level. Our words, like every little smallest detail, she ensured that we got how important, valuable is our word. How we show up, when we show up, the grace in showing up, the mastery of showing up. We dove really deep into our limiting beliefs. It was one of the best choices of my entire life, and I really felt like I found my tribe. I have lots of communities for different things. Again, sexual tantra, my Burning Man community, my surfing community, my runners community. I mean, I have all sorts of, but I really feel like I found a tribe that really embraces the full human experience from a place of non-duality, where we don't make the shadow wrong. We don't make really necessarily anything wrong, because it's just really about where you're at and where you want to go. And when we release the judgment on anything, then there's actual space to create the new. And I feel like that's one of the most powerful things that also she taught us, was just being in that non-judgmental, non-duality space. Anytime we have guilt, anytime we have shame, anytime, and this also applies to sexuality, anytime we have any of those like harsh judgments on ourselves or others, we limit ourselves from the actual feeling experience. And on Saturday, we got ordained by Dee Tracy, who is an author. I don't know how many books she's written, but one of the books I've read with her about Egypt is really mind-blowing and amazing. And she's also a high priestess for this Temple of Isis, and she's takes care of the temple up north at the Isis Oasis. And it was a powerful experience to receive her transmission. And so I'm cleared with clergy, so I can legally marry beloveds and do death rites, go to hospitals, and really do the whole priestessing thing through a church. And so one of the things I want to dive deeper down the road is to really offer super ritualistic tantric weddings and boutique little ceremonial experience before, during, and after that big moment of life, and bringing that ritualistic, intentional blessing. And so that was the Saturday, and I haven't even written about it. I'm still in awe about it, because it's not just a title. It's really a full transmission. It's a full experience. It's a full, I don't even feel the same. I know that sounds cheesy, but the last few days, I've been just waking up with so much energy and just really care about what I want to do. And I'm just I've been productive. But it's just been I've been really very graceful. Just somehow it's feeling I feel it in my bones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What was the name of the course again? It's a year-long journey called.
I don't know what her actual name of her course is called.
Okay.
I believe it's something about priestess ordination through the Isium of Quimera.
Okay.
And so, but I don't really know the titled name.
Yeah, sure.
It was over a year ago that I registered. I knew she was my teacher, and I was so challenged about committing, because I live in Mexico, and it would require me to come to LA after I just moved from LA 5 times out of the year for a weekend, and 2-week-long retreats spread out throughout the year. So it was a real deep commitment on multiple levels, and in the end, it was really the best decision I've made. And so I'll be posting about that soon. And this Thursday, I'm actually going to be sharing one of the healing modalities that she taught us throughout the year, which is intuitive technique. And it's learning how to really unlock the energetic body through movement. And Ananda Ray is a movement director, and she has really mastered dance on a very full-on professional level. Had a international dancing company that toured around the country. I want to say world too, I'm pretty sure, but she has really created a very sophisticated way of unlocking the body in ways that maybe perhaps in your free ecstatic dance way you haven't even gotten to, because it's very technical and structural, to the point that, again, you create the structure for the feminine part of you to really flow and open up. Before you know it, you're dancing in a way that you're either having an orgasm or you're having a shamanic purge or anything in between that. So this Thursday I'm going to be offering in downtown LA a tantric temple dancer play shop, which merges tantric conscious sexual energy with intuitive technique, and the two of them together is divine.
Yeah. Really like what you just said too about feminine movement, and I just thinking about how we walk about in our day, right? You go out into the street, what's everybody doing? They're doing masculine walking. It's very purposeful. I'm going from A to B, and everyone's really tired and my thing. May have a nice outfit on, but it's still very I'm going from A to B, right? We're not stopping and feeling and expressing in a way that actually other people know we're actually doing it. It's so much withholding, right? And I feel just that expression that you just had just taps into this is where people feel isolated, because they're feeling a feeling and then they can't communicate it, because there's such a purpose-driven society around them.
Yes, that's so good. And I feel conscious movement, intentional and with a container movement, it really frees the body, the mind to communicate, to express itself beyond words. And sometimes we need a safe space for that, or know how to do that. So I feel sometimes we get overwhelmed with informations and things we need to say or don't say, and we get kind of caught up in a mix of what is the most critical, important thing to address, take care of, and then there's leaks of oh, I should have done that, so having a place where the body can just express itself and then purge itself of all the confusion, all the noise, all the ways we need to walk and hold our bodies and be, that then it creates space to be able to really address the things that are really actually important.
Yeah. Where it's, again, like you just said, that kind of dumping of everybody else's, or your concern about everybody else. Yeah. I think I love that. And, I'm just even doing that myself. I want to feel more empowered to communicate that I like the song that I'm listening to in my headphones when I'm walking in the middle of the street. And so I want to dance more. Why can't I just dance more in front of people selling the chickens, or in the market? I don't care. Why do I have to look all normal that I'm doing shopping? I just want to do this, right now.
Yeah, totally. I totally honor and celebrate and encourage that. Sometimes I'm at Whole Foods and I'm in the aisles, just
exactly
a whole other world. I'm doing that, or at the airport, and I'm
right.
Or I'm in the combi, the little bus, and I'm just
yeah, totally.
I don't know. It feels good.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So it's beautiful to kind of segue to that kind of, the communication again that we're having with ourselves, and letting it out, because I think that's where people are going nuts. They're losing their mind. They're just I need to say something, but it looks like everybody else is busy, but everybody else is probably just thinking the same thing, gotta look straight, gotta look normal, gotta look business as usual, or gotta look like the cultural standard that everybody is upholding, right? Don't look different than your cultural standard, else you'll stick out, and then you'll be ostracized, and then no one will touch you, love you, or hug you, even though you're not getting loved, touched, and hugged in your current social paradigm. It's kind of funny.
I just go back to, how do I want to feel?
Yeah. Okay, this is good. How do you want to feel? I'm curious how many people ask themselves that question.
I don't know.
Do you remember that you can ask yourself that question? How do I want to feel?
Tricky part. Yeah. Well, I feel like the moment that, I have some awareness that I feel like shitty, that's usually a time where first I try to breathe, like consciously, like fully drop into my body, and then make a choice. And usually that choice is like some form of a feeling, or some form of something I want to embody, something I want to feel. But I feel coming back to breathing is like what helps me the most, because it's hard. You get overwhelmed with like how you want to feel. Should I be meditating? Should I call a friend? Should I?
You're saying should.
Should I go to the beach? Well, I feel like it's a little different when the should is like what we need to do to take care of myself versus they should be this way, because you have no control of that anyway. So
true.
So, but at least yes, and yeah, really, there really shouldn't be a certain way where I should be a certain way for anything. But what do I really need to do for myself right now?
Well, no, it's an interesting, when I just watched you go through that process too, and because we all do it, it's like, how come we don't know what we want? Have we been somehow trained, because maybe at an earlier age we were told the word no when we externalized our needs to our parents or whatever. So it's like, why is there sometimes a level of confusion over what we need? Why can't it be more clear? Have we learned to distrust ourselves?
I feel it's actually, you do know what you need.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to take those baby steps for the picture to show up and unfold even more. You're not going to wake up one day and like, Spirit's going to be like, Wes, today you need to do this, and this, and that. And then now you're on your way to success. Full on success. How brilliant. I want to buy that program.
I know. I miss those days of having a giant overlord telling me what to do. I truly miss them. I don't know where that is.
Yeah, so I do. Sometimes what you need is to be in the unknown. That's what you need to be in. Like, that's part of the journey. You need to be in your cocoon where it's dark and you don't know when you're going to come out and fly. You need to be okay and learn something in the dark. You need to be in the unknown. And so I feel we know what we need to know.
Yeah.
Until further notice is just how I feel. And in the process, you're just learning, discovering, you're expanding in the places unknown. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. There is a question in case you're fans for that. So I'm just going to excuse myself real quick, and then probably shortly after that, you want to wrap up? Wes?
Yeah, because we're 49 minutes into it. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Or do you want to just end now? We can.
Yeah, let me just, I'm going to dive into this question if you need to go to the
dive into that
bathroom.
question. Yeah.
Okay, so how to not feel like a victim of other people, feeling used by them, like you're worth nothing, and then they see nothing wrong with it because they feel like they know more than other people. Well, two things there. You got to take responsibility for who you interact with. And sometimes in life, we are running subconscious patterns, right? And there's a reason why those subconscious patterns exist. You had an experience when you were younger or at some point in your life where you were taught that was normal, or you began to be trained on how to compromise your own inner truth, your own inner dialogue. And now you have a person in your life who's reflecting that inner agreement of, victimization. Now there's something positive out of all this, is that if you're on your spiritual healing game, the person who's treating you like shit can actually be your catalyst for healing, right? So you can utilize an antagonist, you can utilize an enemy, quote unquote, for your benefit, to show you where you're holding yourself up. So again, this all comes back down to a lot of massive personal responsibility here. And so sometimes you can really thank the people in your life who are, quote unquote, enemies or bad people, because again, they're gonna take a highlighter and show you where you're actually agreeing to be treated like shit. And so in the end, there are no victims, there's participants. And so getting really clear with that. And again, the end result of this, if you're taking that responsibility, is your empowerment. And then you regain the standard of health, of healthy communication or healthy interaction within yourself again. And then that's going to be matched on the outside of you, because you will not engage with anything that is not a match to that.
Beautifully said, Wes. Thank you.
Yeah. So if there's any final words or questions, we've had a good deep dive on communication, both inner and outer, and I hope it served everyone well in this session.
Yes, it was so good. Sorry I missed your cast. I hope to get your next greeting from Liverpool.
Yay, UK.
United Kingdom, hey.
It'll be up for 24 hours on eShell's channel, so you'll have another 24 hours to check it out, and then it gets posted eventually to YouTube.
It does.
Yeah.
And just putting one last announcement, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C., April 15th, offering a Tantric Temple Dancer Play Shop, as well as an advanced Tantric Temple Dancer Play Shop, which is going to include like a burlesque striptease class. And then offering a Tantric Temple Dancer Play Shop in Oakland at the end of May. But there is one this Thursday in downtown LA for those of you who are in the area. And then anything you want to share about your coaching, Wes, or any announcements?
Yeah, on my profile, there's a link that sends you to other links. And one of them is I do private intuitive empathic coaching. If there's anything that you're really stuck on right now, we can set up a time to hang out, and I can really go in and dive deep and listen to you and help you rediscover where you're utilizing your power against yourself, so you can utilize your power for yourself.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being present and being open to my shoulds.
Oh my God. Absolutely. Yeah, it was funny when we were talking, I was like, let me look up the thesaurus for should, and there's actually no other word for should. I'm like, damn it, thesaurus? What the hell? I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna have to work on this. Like, what's the alternative to should? So we'll figure that out. All right, love. All right, we'll catch you soon.
Peace, everyone. Thank you for watching.